The freedom fighter keeps rejecting freedom, whilst another United flop becomes Serie A's most wanted. Brentford's Johan Wissa goes down the ISAK route, and another French club just lost their pro license. This is DMAC Daily. Death, taxes, and Jadon Sancho infuriating the Man United fan base. These three things are simply inevitable in this life. We all know how it started, right? A £73 million transfer back in 2021 for England's golden boy, but ultimately the prized winger failed to deliver at Old Trafford whilst raking in astronomical coin. After 3 underwhelming campaigns, the United hierarchy figured out a way to finally get rid of the guy by sanctioning a loan to Chelsea with an obligation to buy at the season's end. Haha, sucked in Chelsea, he's your problem now. But 12 months later, plot twist, bro's back in Manchester with Chelsea paying United a penalty fee to not sign him. Now, ironically enough, Chelsea did actually want to keep him, but Sancho himself rejected due to a significantly decreased salary package on offer. Now, on one hand, you're earning huge money in Manchester, why would you settle for way less? But on the other hand, he is no longer anywhere near a 250k a week player. Outside of a Saudi proposal, I cannot envision any other club forking out that kind of salary. He's since rejected a move to Besiktas, and the latest high-profile snub was a transfer to Roma. This club offered £20 million for him. United fans were buzzing. The most lucrative deadwood in the club's history was set to finally leave. But Sancho once again said, no thanks, I think I can do better. So now what? Well, reportedly, Juve, Dortmund, and Atletico Madrid are still weighing up a possible deal, but I do question Sancho's aspirations at this point. I don't think he's particularly motivated by sporting metrics. Euros, however, well, that's a different story. If all else fails, he could still consider Besiktas as the Turkish window closes later than the rest of Europe, so who knows what's next. But for someone who's yearned for freedom away from Manchester, he doesn't appear to be suffering in United's bomb squad. Speaking of, the future of Rasmus Højlund is getting interesting. Now, I feel for the Dane in a way because despite the challenges he's faced under Ten Hag and then Ruben Amorim, there's no denial he's been the consummate professional throughout. Even upon Šeško's arrival, the replacement signing, Højlund has publicly spoken of his desire to remain in Manchester, saying, I think my plan is very clear, and that is for me to stay and fight for my spot, whatever happens. A loyal servant, yet the United hierarchy have made their intentions clear. They want him out. There has been significant interest in the player, particularly via the Serie A. Inter were the early frontrunners, but in recent weeks, AC Milan have become the favourites. Their sporting director confirmed their interest, quote, Højlund is a good option for us. We are thinking about him. They're looking for either a loan with an obligation to buy or a direct purchase for around £30 million. However, I think a bidding war could soon be on the cards. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that Inter's deal with Ademola Lookman has completely collapsed, and on top of that news, Napoli are now on the hunt for another 9 following Lukaku's recent hamstring tear. I think Højlund could become a serious target for both of these clubs alongside Milan. Staying on the theme of striker transfer drama, and whilst everyone's talking about the lengths ISAK has reportedly taken to pursue a move away from Newcastle, all the while the Johan Wissa saga is reaching a similar boiling point, with the 28-year-old deleting all traces of his association with Brentford from his socials, just like you would in a messy breakup. How could Wissa do this? Now, the Brentford talisman is claiming they had a previous agreement in place last summer that he could leave in 12 months' time for around 30 mil, but Brentford's current asking price is significantly above that figure. Classic gentleman's agreement conundrum. Get this stuff in writing or the agreement doesn't exist. That's my take. Brentford have since signed another forward in Bournemouth's Dango Utara for a record £42 million, but he was brought in more so as an Mbeumo replacement, so you can see why they're holding firm on keeping Wissa. Now for some quick-fire transfer updates, starting with Bournemouth's replacement for Utara. They've poached Ben Doak away from Liverpool for £25 million. Nottingham Forest have signed another striker in Arnold Kalimuendo for €31.5 million. Underrated Liga and baller Sverre Nypan, Man City's Norwegian wonderkid, is on his way to Borough on loan. Can't wait to see this lad in the Championship. Leon Bailey is destined to become a Roma player on loan with the option to buy for 22 mil. Meanwhile, Nicola Zalewski trades the Nerazzurri for Ladea, becoming an Atalanta player for 17 mil. Wolves have strengthened, signing Verona wingback Jackson Chachua for 12 mil, and Tottenham's captain Christian Romero will remain in North London, signing a 4-year contract extension, becoming the club's highest paid player in the process. Now for some sad news, and French club Ajaccio have officially filed for bankruptcy and lost their professional license, becoming the 3rd pro club in the space of a week to suffer this existential fate. This is wild. Ajaccio had featured in France's top flight as recently as 2023, and in May of this year were recognized as having the best training complex in Ligue 2. But due to being unable to attract investors to help cover their 13 million euro debt, the pro sector of this club will now cease to exist, meaning 180 staff members will lose their jobs, the training complex will be closed, and worst of all, Ajaccio will be excluded from all national competitions, meaning they'd have to start again as an amateur club from the 6th tier. Now, Ajaccio are attempting a last-minute push to be eligible for the 5th tier this season, but this is still a devastating fall from grace. Understand, they were a mid-table Ligue 2 club last season. Another crazy financial downfall within French football. Anyways, that's all for today's DMAC Daily. If you love the show, feel free to like, subscribe, or support me on Patreon. Catch you tomorrow.